breathe deeply, and stay present. Get out of your head. Stop going and over analyzing, overthinking everything. I know it's so tempting, so easy. I've done it so many times, but don't do it. Hello, stereotype breakers, and welcome to yet another episode of the Meaningful Conversations podcast. Today, we're talking about how to be more confident when speaking in meetings and presentations. Before we go ahead, though, please click that subscribe button on the podcasting platform of your choice or on YouTube if you're watching this, because we create content that will help your career every single week. We publish it every single week, and I don't want you to miss it. Plus, it helps support our channel and what we do, spreading content like this. And now let's jump into the meat of things and talk about how to be more confident in those social settings. So let me first start by telling you that I'm one of the biggest introverts you will ever meet. I love being by myself, and I do not feel confident talking in public. But over the years, I've had to learn how to do that. And at some point, when I was working at Google, I had to learn very quickly how to do that. And in fact, I had to train other people on the topic, because I was not only was I participating in a lot of meetings and had to speak out, but also I was organizing so many events, I can't even count them. I've lost count, and I've had to train people to organize events on my behalf. And that included a lot of presentations and public speaking. So I had to learn some tricks very quickly. And what I will share with you today has helped me so much. And this is what I was teaching those people who were conducting events on my behalf. So let's dig into it. Well, first of all, tip number one is know your stuff, prepare for the meeting. This is a no-brainer. I'm not going to make you more confident about the topic, about the subject, if you have not prepared. You have to be prepared to a reasonable amount. Of course, I'm not trying to appeal to your perfectionist right now. I'm not trying to say be over prepared, but be prepared. Know your stuff. Do a run through of the presentation at least once, know what you're doing. Be comfortable with the material that you're about to present. Once you're past that, once you know your materials, let's get into my tips. And tip number one is breathing. For some of you, this might be surprising. For some of you, it might be frustrating because you're already breathing, right? You're breathing to survive. However, breathing has been an incredible tool that I have discovered during my time at Google, which really turned my public speaking and my confidence upside down. I watched this TED Talk, which I will leave a link to in the description, which talked about controlling your voice and using your breathing to not only control your voice, but also to control your heartbeat. And then I started digging into the science behind it because, I started doing it and it started working. The thing is, and you can absolutely, I encourage you to watch that TED Talk, but let me explain some of the science behind it. Thing is, when you are doing public speaking, a lot of the times your body goes into a stress mode because you're nervous. You might enter fight or flight response, which, is a psychological term for, a line of physiological responses we have to stress. And they involve, sending adrenaline. Disclaimer, I'm not, I don't know the biology perfectly, so please don't quote me on this. But basically, adrenaline gets released, you start breathing fast, your body prepares you to run away or to fight. So all of the mechanisms inside of your body are just jolting those, sending more energy, more blood, more oxygen to your muscles and things like that, so that you can run away or fight. If you think about it, that's great that you're getting more energy in your muscles, but you need more energy and more oxygen in your brain to, make sense and to control yourself. So the thing is, when you are stressed, you breathe in a very shallow way. Don't quote me on this, but you start breathing very shallow. Your breaths are very short. And that is also one of the symptoms or of fight and flight response. So sometimes you don't realize, but you might even induce the fight or flight response by your breathing pattern. It's a phenomenon that has also been discovered by psychologists, but basically you can use that to your advantage because by breathing slower and deeper, you can start calming yourself down. So that, link between the fight or flight response and your breathing, you can take advantage of it. And so you can start breathing slowly and deeply and breathing into your diaphragm or your belly, essentially belly breathing instead of your chest. And so feeling that expand and feeling how you're getting much more air to your brain, to your body, etc. Once you start breathing deeply, you will calm yourself down. You will regain control of your brain and you will regain control of your body essentially. Your voice won't be shaky. You will start being in control again. And one of the things that I saw in that TED talk, that again, the link will be in the description below. But the thing that I will never forget is the woman asked, how can you tell who's the most confident person in the room? The person with the lowest heartbeat. And how do you control your heartbeat? By breathing slower. So try that right now. I'm telling you, try that right now. You might be very relaxed watching this video or listening to this episode, but try it. The moment you start breathing slower and deeper, your heart rate will go down. And the moment you start shallow breathing, your heart rate will go up. And whenever you're stressed, next time, just test it. Test it for yourself. Start breathing deeply and see the effects of that on your confidence. Tip number 2, or number 3, depending on whether we're counting the make sure you know your stuff tip, is not getting too carried away in your head, not getting into your head. And it really helps when you start breathing deeply and you kind of ground yourself. It helps you to become present again. Because the moment you start getting into your head and you start over analyzing whatever is going on around you, whatever, the slight facial expression of the person who you're talking to, the moment you start doing that, you lose that confidence train. So I want you to bring yourself back and make sure that you are here, you are present, you are focused on your words, you're focused on the materials, and you're focused on how you present it. You're not over analyzing everybody's reactions. You're not thinking about, oh my God, they're not going to promote me because I just messed up this word. No, focus on here and now, focus on your performance right this moment, because that's what matters and that's what you have control over. So why don't you breathe deeply and stay present? Get out of your head. Stop going and over analyzing, overthinking everything. I know it's so tempting, so easy. I've done it so many times, but don't do it. Tip number 3 or 4, again, depending on where you're counting from, is remembering that we're all human and remembering that you will not have all of the answers and that it's okay to say, for example, if you are in the question part, it's okay to say, I don't have all of the information. However, I will do my research and I will get back to you. I will ask the person who is in charge and I will get back to you. That is one of the things that we always said whenever we were presenting at Google events and we were client facing. I was working on the YouTube part of things, right? A YouTube team. And we were facing a lot of creators who were asking us about features, who were asking about policies, etc. And whenever we didn't have an answer, or, we couldn't answer for certain reasons, we would be pretty honest about the fact that, hey, I don't have an answer for you right now, or I can't give you an answer at this point. However, let me, check in with a team who could give me the information that you need, and I will get back to you. And there were a lot of emails that we have sent out to people who did ask us, um, certain things that we couldn't follow up with at the time. Remembering that we're all human, we can't know everything, and, kind of connecting with other people on that. Let's say that I don't know, the worst case scenario, you spilled your coffee on yourself. Make a joke about it because you're not the only person in that room who has spilled coffee on themselves. And so connect with the other people on your shared humanity. It's okay not to be perfect. It's okay, if anything, that makes you more, human. Again, and it gives you the opportunity to connect with other people, to connect and to, I don't want to say celebrate. Celebrate is not the right word here. Recognize each other's humanity and bond over the fact that you're not perfect. Okay, maybe you would want to be perfect. Maybe the other person also would want to be perfect, but you're not. So, bonding over that. That was more on the presentation side of things. However, if you're in a meeting and you want to ask a question and you feel like it's a stupid question, I want you to remember that a lot of people in this room either don't know the answer themselves and they would want to ask this question, but they feel stupid because most people feel stupid asking pretty basic questions. And so they will be incredibly relieved if you ask this question because they were too scared to ask it. So a lot of people might have that question on their minds. And second of all, some people may have not even thought that aspect of whatever you're talking about, whatever you're discussing through. And by asking that question, you might actually help. You might actually draw attention to something that hasn't been thought through. And that is amazing. If anything, asking questions right now is such an important skill. I have read multiple books on how to ask the right questions. How do you ask better questions? How do you ask more questions? How do you create a culture where we all ask more questions because they lead us, asking questions puts us in this investigative mode and helps us solve problems more efficiently and more effectively. Now, all of these tips have been for when you're in action, right? You're here, you're on the spot. How do you become more confident? There are also some things that you can do before the presentation, before the meeting, in order to be more confident during that meeting. And one of them is affirmations. I talk about affirmations a lot. I think they're incredibly powerful. I know they're incredibly powerful because this is a result of a lot of affirmations. My whole being, my whole life. The first time I started doing affirmations, I don't know, I was 14. I didn't call them affirmations at the time. Maybe even, no, I was even younger. What am I talking about? But affirmations are these statements that affirm your belief in something. And they can be targeted at affirming your belief in your public speaking skills or your belief in something else, or affirming the fact that you're still learning and growing and it's okay, and affirming that failure is fine. Like, they basically help you come to terms with certain things. They help you strengthen your belief in yourself, in your abilities, etc. And I have a whole list of affirmations that you can use. And in order to use affirmations, you just basically read it out loud, or read it, very loudly in your head if you're in public, for example, and you can't read them out loud, and truly process them and truly feel them through. You can also write them down. And I do this daily whenever I journal. I write affirmations that sometimes just flow out of my head because I need to work through something. Affirmations are incredibly powerful, and I have a list of affirmations that you can download using the link in the description. So go ahead and do that. And I also want to talk about, having a confidence routine. This is a concept that I'm still working on. So if this is something that interests you, let me know in the comments or by shouting it out on social media and tagging us so that I can see it. But I'm thinking about this confidence routine where before doing something scary, you can do a couple of power poses, right? Like the superwoman, superman, superwoman, superman poses. You can do a couple of affirmations. You have a routine that prepares you for action. I was thinking about how a lot of athletes have these routines where they get into their groove, they get into the mindset of doing things and not overthinking things, not overthinking the jump that they're about to do or whatever magical performance they're about to show us, not to get scared off by what ifs, not to overanalyze things, to get themselves into it. So I was thinking about potentially creating a routine that people can replicate. So let me know if this is something that you're interested in learning more about, or if you do that already, or if you think that this is a good idea and you're going to start implementing it. I'm super curious to find out what you are doing right now. But basically, the whole concept will be just combining a few different things, or maybe just doing one thing that sets you up into that mindset of achieving, of doing, of presenting, of talking, of feeling confident and not over analyzing, not getting in your head. So those are the things that, you can do before the meeting, before the important presentation, before the event, so that you feel more confident. All right, super curious to hear what you thought about this episode. For sure, subscribe on YouTube and the podcasting platform of your choice. I mean, do both, right? Because we all listen to podcasts sometimes when we're on the go, and sometimes it's nice to see the picture. Hi. I'm recording this on camera. Let us know in the comments what you thought about today's episodes, the tips, and all of that good stuff. And of course, give it a like, because that really helps with the algorithm and helps spread our message across the interwebs and reach more people. I appreciate you. Thank you for spending this time with us. Have a wonderful time today you're currently experiencing. Bye.